Hey everybody, good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum, namaste. I've been asked because a lot of people like the cooking that I do, so I thought I'd share a recipe for you today. This is kind of a pimped up Chana masala that we're going to do, and I think it's going to be really good. So you need your chickpeas. You need 2 cans of 15-ounce chickpeas. You're going to need 2 cans of black beans and about ½ pound of chopped carrots. You're going to need about 2 large onions chopped up, so that'll get you started, and let's start going. So the first thing you're going to need is some mustard oil, and I like the Swad mustard oil, so we put that in a pot, and then you add the following. As your oil heats up, you add some mustard seeds, probably about this much. One of the things I do is I don't really measure stuff out that much. So I do some mustard seeds, little cumin seeds in there, and some whole red chilies, and you throw that all into the pot. But here you go. You've got the mustard oil. You've got about 2 onions chopped up, and your whole dried red chilies in there, and your seeds. So that's all cooking nicely. They've been cooking probably about 5-10 minutes, and so you can see now kind of the onions getting nice and caramelized. Not quite caramelized, but they're certainly kind of soft, so it's looking pretty good there. Okay, so this has been cooking for a little bit. It's looking really nice and soft. So what we're going to do is we're not going to add the secret ingredients. This is what makes this dish, I think, really, really special, which is you need about a teaspoon each for this kind of volume. And I usually cook a lot because cooking is kind of a pain, so I usually cook a lot and then either I freeze it or I eat on it during the week. So here's what you need. You need a teaspoon each of the ground cinnamon, ground nutmeg, ground cloves, and ground coriander. Don't buy the powdered coriander, just get the seeds and grind it up in a coffee grinder and then jar that. That's really the best way to go. So that's what I do, and then I just put it in a jar. So you have all of that, and that's what that looks like. You got your cinnamon, your coriander, your nutmeg, and your cloves. Teaspoon each of those. Dump those in at about this stage. Kind of stir that up. And I wish videos had smell-o-vision because it smells just gorgeous. It smells really nice and kind of spicy and is great. So we're going to let this kind of cook for a few more minutes, see how it goes, and just kind of let that congeal, let the spices blend, let the taste kind of start to happen. And we'll come back, and the next stage is going to be to add some garlic paste and ginger paste, but we're going to do that here in a few more minutes. Okay, so next we're going to add the garlic and ginger paste. I got a little bit of garlic paste and a little bit of ginger paste, and just dump that in. Stir this around. Sometimes you can tell it's starting to stick a little bit, so we probably need to add a bit of water and turn down the heat a little bit. It's getting a little bit sticky. That'll happen when you add those dry spices, when you add the clove and coriander and nutmeg and cinnamon. It tends to dry things out a little bit, so if you need to add some water, keep an eye on things and do that. So we're going to let this cook for a little bit more, and then we'll add the carrots here shortly. Okay, so now with the able assistant of my son here is going to help hold the camera.
AKA No Room But Junior. Check out my vids. Hey Dad, it's advertisement.
Now we're adding in the carrots. And we add the carrots first because carrots do take a long time to cook. And most of the family doesn't like the carrots to be too crunchy in this dish. So we're going to do that. Let's get it closer to the pot. Kind of stir that in. I need to add a little more water at this stage, turn down the heat. And so mix this up all really good. And we're going to let this cook for a while. Alright, put the lid on there so it kind of steams and gets its own juices. Turn down the temperature and let that cook for a bit. it's going to be really good. Okay. One of the things you should also do at about this stage is to add some tomato paste. You can certainly add it at any point at this stage, either before the carrots or after. Stir that in as well. That'll also help keep the sticking down because you're adding some liquid here to the base. So now, as you can start to see, it's turning out to have a really nice color. And when you add the black beans and the chickpeas, it just looks beautiful. It's a good Halloween thing because it's sort of, you know, black and orange. You can make this a little sort of quasi-diaspora Halloween treat, as it were. That's getting good sufficient mash up. I'm going to let that cook a little longer. We'll come back to it here in a little bit. We've added the 2 cans of garbanzos and the 2 cans of black beans. So now we're just stirring all that in. I usually drain the black beans a little bit. I don't really drain the garbanzos that much, just because I kind of like that liquid in there. So just put it on low and let it simmer. We'll add a little amchur powder, which is dried ground mango, and a little cayenne here towards the end. But we're just going to turn this on low and let it simmer. A couple other things that you might notice: I don't really measure stuff that much. You just kind of throw it in. Only thing really in terms of measurements or amounts that you need are going to be the 2 cans of black beans, the 2 cans of garbanzos, about the ½ pound of carrots, and 2 or 3 onions. The only thing I really carefully measure are those spices, and I do about a teaspoon each of the coriander, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves. Other than that, it's all just kind of thrown in by hand. It's the best way to cook. One of the things I'm going to show you as this cooks a little bit. A lot of cooks use a recipe book or use recipe. I don't have time for that, and it gets really messy, as you can see here in the kitchen, right? We've got a lot of stuff sitting out there. That's something else my wife's just cooking. Here's Mustafa's recipe book. Check it out. I got my spice cupboard, and then here on little post-it notes, I got all the recipes here. And usually they're just like quick little mnemonic reminders. Here's the recipe book that we're doing today. Here's the recipe we're doing today. Is this? So you can see this way I can open it up. Here's my spice cabinet and see all the stuff I have in there. So I can just kind of look at it and it says, oh yeah, that's what I need. I need this, I need this. And then I just put in here the order of what we need. Like here it says this the Chana, right? So we know we started with the chilies. It's about 5 or 6 whole chilies, the cumin seeds and mustard seeds, the onions, cinnamon, nutmeg. So I just have stuff in order of which they go. This kind of style of cooking, the order in which things go is very, very important. Because you can add the same spices and put them in a different order and your dish will come out completely different. This dish, however, is going to turn out really awesome. So we're just going to let this simmer, let it do its thing. We'll add the amchur here and the cayenne here after a little while. Okay, so it's all done. Here we have, we're going to try a little bit of it, see how this turned out. Wow. Turned out very nice. Mellow, has a nice little tang to it with the amchur powder. Turmeric adds a little bit of body. The coriander helped there towards the end. So we're all set to do. A great way to serve this is with some naan and mango chutney. You can also serve it over rice as a main dish. All of the above. It's also a good complement to, say, like a vindaloo. Chicken vindaloo, it's also, or lamb or beef if you do that kind of thing. Vindaloo works very well with this dish because you also have the cinnamon and cloves, so there's a little bit of continuity there with the dish. It's very, very good. I'm pleased with the way it came out. Family will dig it. Hope you'll dig it too. Now, of course, the other thing to keep in mind, now as you're doing this, you always need some dinner music, some background music, so make sure to check out the other videos here on YouTube/Norumba. And go to MySpace /Norumba. Check out some dinner music that I also do. Some of it's kind of wild, but you'll do and enjoy it, and hope you enjoy the recipe. We'll do some more next time I cook. Thanks very much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed it. I certainly had a good time with it. It's fun to share some recipes with you. So, wa alaikum assalam. See you next time.